Good morning, boys and girls, mommies and daddies, and grandmommies and grandpuppies. Today's story is going to the grocery store. Now, Mommy Piggy wanted to make sure that the boys knew how to do certain things around the house, like iron their own clothes. They were getting pretty good at that. She started them last year. A little bit young, perhaps, but they did good, and they're doing better. Not too many burn marks on the shirts. She also has taught them how to make their beds, which all boys and girls should know how to do that. And today's lesson is going to the grocery store. They don't know this yet. So, the piggies were waking up and they were putting on their play clothes. And Piggly says, "What are we going to do today, boys?" And Squiggly says, "I don't know, but I'm in the mood to go swimming. I think that'd be so good because school hasn't started yet." "Well, yeah, it's almost started. Tomorrow it starts." "Yeah, but I think we should go swimming today." Squiggly says, "I'm for that." And with that, they trotted down the stairs, and they sounded like a herd of elephants. Clump, 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 clump. Oh my gracious sakes. Something like a herd of elephants. So they sat down to the breakfast table, and they said, "Mommy, what are we going to have today?" And she says, "Well, you're going to have cereal." "Oh, cereal? Mommy." And she says, "Well," she says, "we're all out of pancake mix, and we're out of eggs, and we've only got 2 more pieces of toast left, so we're going to have cereal today." Oh. Well, boys, I have made up my mind. I am going to take you, boys, to the grocery store. "Oh, Mommy, do we have to do that? All we do is just sit there in the front on the bench and just wait for you, and it's boring." And Squiggly says, "Now, Wiggly, Piggly, it's not that bad. We like to people watch, and we do see some strange things and some funny things, too. Remember the time that we saw..." Mommy Pig says, "Okay, boys, enough." Now, what I have done is I have made out a week's worth of menus. And what that means is what you're going to have for lunch and what you're going to have for supper. And I did include breakfast because you boys are going to do the shopping, and I will sit on the bench in front. Well, with that, their little mouths fell open, and she went around to each one of them and closed their mouth because she was laughing so hard. So Piggly says, "Well, what exactly do we do?" And she says, "Well, it's going to be up to you. I'm going to give you a list, and it's up to you to get everything on the list." "That's a lot of getting, Mommy." And she says, "No." She says, "Because I divided it into 3. I have 3 pretty boys, and I divided the list into 3 pretty things." "Oh," they said, "well, this is getting interesting." And Squiggly says, "Well, maybe we don't need to go swimming." And she says, "Oh, you can go swimming after you get through." She said, "That would be a good idea." Well, they ate their breakfast, and she said, "I think you better go take your play shirts off and put on a decent-looking shirt." She says, "You never know who we might run into." "Yes, Mommy." And they ran up the stairs, and they changed shirts, and they come back down again, like that herd of elephants, just then, rum, 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 rum. I mean, you know, my gracious sakes. So she handed the boys 2 pieces of paper, and one paper was the menu for everything through that week. She had everything written down. Monday, breakfast, lunch, and supper. Tuesday, breakfast, lunch, and supper. Wednesday, breakfast, lunch, and supper. And Thursday, breakfast, lunch, and supper. And Friday, breakfast, lunch, and supper. And Saturday, breakfast, lunch, and supper. And Sunday, breakfast, lunch, and supper. And then the other page was the grocery list. Oh, the boys were so afraid to read this. But they read it, and they looked at each other, and Squiggly says, let's change papers and see what I'm thinking is true. So they changed papers with each other, and they read the papers, and they all started to laugh. And Mommy Piggy says, boys, what are you laughing at now? What did Mommy do to make you laugh? And Squiggly says, well, Mommy, you divided this stuff into cans and cold stuff and boxes. We think that's kind of funny. And she says, well, Piggly, your list is all the food that comes in boxes. Now, the boxes will not be the same size. They will not look alike. And they're not all in one shelf together. You're going to have to go through every aisle and look from the top to the bottom that you can find them. Well, what about if they're on the top and we can't reach them? And she says, well, you jump in the basket and you stand in the basket and you can reach it. Mommy, won't they get on to us? And she says, well, she said, you can tell anybody that gets on to you that you are shopping for your mommy, and your mommy is in the front of the store. Okay, I like that. And Wiggly, your list is all the cans. They're going to be little ones and medium-sized ones and big ones, and they don't look alike, but most of the cans will have a picture of what I wrote down on your paper, so that'll help you. Mommy, will my boxes have a picture? Most of the time they will have a picture too. Phew, thank goodness. And Squiggly says, and I see I get the cold stuff, all the cold stuff. Ooh, can I get some ice cream? She says, well, she says, boys, I think that if you would get, you're allowed to get 2 items that's not on the list from your department. So, Piggly, that means that you can get 2 extra boxes, or 1 box and 1 box, or 2 boxes of the same thing, something that is not on GrandMom or on Mommy Pig's list. And that will be a surprise for all of us to share. Wow! And Wiggly, on your can list, you can get 2 things that's not on Mommy's list, and we will add that to our menu for our meals. And Squiggly's jumping up and down. I know what I'm gonna get. I know what I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get some ice cream. Woohoo! And she said, well, you just ruined your surprise, Squiggly, but you got another item. You got 2 items you can get in the cold things. Oh boy. And they were raring to go to the grocery store. And she says, okay, now remember, I'm going to sit in the front on that bench, and I don't think I'm going to let you come and ask me questions. I want you to figure this out for yourself. I think you're old enough now. You can read all the list, and you know what we like to eat, and so I think that you can do good on your own. When you get in line, I will see you, and if for some reason I don't see you, one of you boys come and get me, and then I'll come over and I'll pay for everything. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Boys and girls, the three little pigs were so excited. This was going to be something special. They were going to get to shop for groceries. Now, they knew that Mommy had made out a list. And most of the time, us ladies do make out a list. Because if we don't make out a list, we forget something that we need. And if we don't make out a list, we get everything else that we want to get and not what we're supposed to get. So it's always good to make out a list. And the boys knew that because they knew that their Mommy always made out a nice list for herself. So they get in the car and they buckled up their seatbelts and off they go to town to the grocery store. And sure enough, Mommy Pig sitting right down on that bench down in front where she could see all the cash registers. And she says, now boys, you'll need 3 grocery carts because you're going to be shopping on your own. So they went down the first aisle, and it was mostly a cans aisle. So Wiggly got, 4 or 5 things that was on his list. And they went on down, they went up the next aisle and down the next aisle and up the next aisle and down the next aisle. And then they went all through the back and all through the front. Well, their little grocery carts were getting pretty doggone full. Piggly could hardly push his. And Wiggly had to go in the front and drag his because it was so heavy, because all the canned things, they weigh a little bit. Squiggly, he was kind of right in the middle of it. He had some heavy things and he had some light things. Heavy things like milk and water. Those jugs are heavy. Well, they got up to the register and Mommy Pig saw them coming, and she gets up and she goes over to the line and she gets in line. And she says, boys, I'm going to try not to look at all this stuff that you got because, first of all, if you got my list, I know what you got. And I want to be surprised for your 2 special things that you got. And so all the boys, they smiled. They were so happy because they wanted to surprise Mommy on their special items. Oh, boys and girls. They must have got some real special items because the groceries cost $105.42. Oh my goodness sakes alive. Well, they get home, put all the groceries in the car, and they drove home, and Mommy Pig got out her little shopping cart. Some people call it the little old lady cart. And she put all of the groceries in that cart so that she wouldn't have to make trips back and forth to the car to the house and to the car to the house. And they dragged that little old lady's cart into the house, and she started putting things away. And the boy said, wait a minute, Mommy. Don't put things away. We'll put things away for you. We need to learn where they go, don't we? And she says, well, Piggly, I don't know why I didn't think of that myself. That's a great idea. She says, oh, Lord, she says, I hope I can find everything. Well, she sat there at the table, and she says, okay, you boys, show me your special things at the very last. They got all the groceries put away, and Piggly showed her his 2 special boxes. And what do you think? He got a pizza in 1 box, and he got a special kind of cookies that he had never tasted before, but they looked so yummy, 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 yummy in the package, in the box, or, you know, in the box. Well, Mommy Pig says, well, that looks nice. I think we're going to have a good time. Pizza and special cookies. Well done, Piggly. So, Wiggly, what did you get special? And Wiggly says, well, buying something special in the cans was kind of hard. But I saw this can, Mommy, and he shows her the can, and it was it was a special kind of peaches. Now, I know some of you mommies out there are saying, oh, canned peaches, but the grocery store didn't have any fresh peaches because it wasn't the right time. So Mommy Pig says, well, those are the good special peaches, aren't they? She says, what else did you get? And Wiggly says, well, that was kind of hard because, you know, do jars count? And she said, yes. She says, jars will count. And he says, well, Mommy, I don't know if you're going to like this, Mommy, but it kind of looks kind of interesting in the jar, and I didn't know what it was, and so I thought maybe you might like it too. And she started laughing, and she says, well, what did you get, sweetheart? And Wiggly very proudly says, I got a jar of sauerkraut. Mommy, what's sauerkraut? And she started laughing, and she says, well, sauerkraut is made from cabbage. And Mommy doesn't know how to spell. And she says, it is kind of good. You kind of have to kind of make me acquire a taste for it. But she says, it's real good. Oh, goody, goody, goody. Okay, can we have some? Can we have some? Can we have some? Can we have my peaches too, Mommy? Piggly says, calm down, boys. I will put it in the right, where it fits in with the menu. She says, we'll use them, don't worry. So she says, Squiggly, what kind of special cold stuff did you get? And Squiggly says, well, you know, Mommy, I got the ice cream. And he says, I really wanted something special to go, you know, on the special things in the cold things. And she says, I hunted and I hunted and I hunted some more. Oh my gosh, sakes, I hunted and I hunted and I hunted and I hunted. And you know what? Hi, Cindy. Do you know what? I actually got another kind of ice cream. And she said, you did? He says, yeah. He says, the first ice cream I got was a vanilla with chocolate bits and almond bits and chocolate syrup. Oh, it's going to be so good. And she says, well, that sounds interesting. And he says, and the second ice cream I got, Mommy, it's your favorite because you talk about it all the time. It's that Neapolitan? Is that what you call it, Mommy? And she says, what color is it, sweetheart? He says, it's chocolate and vanilla and strawberry. She says, sweetheart, it's called Neapolitan. That's what I said, Neapolitan. And she says, wow. She says, this is going to be a good week. She says, I got a nice menu, and I had you wonderful boys shopping for me. And I can't wait to cook all this food and put in your special items in the menu. And with that, there was a knock on the door, and there stood Allie the alligator and Little Bad Wolf. And Little Bad Wolf says, "Hi, can we go swimming today? Can we go swimming today?" And Mommy Pig says, "I think that would be a good idea, boys. You 3 boys have earned a good swimming. Now, when I ring the bell, you better come a-running, because it'll be supper time." And the boys and girls, because Patty Pig had showed up and so had Sally Skunk, they ran down to the good Lord, they ran down to the swimming pond and jumped in. Okay, boys and girls, that's all for today. I will see you Wednesday. Bye-bye.